The domesticated fish species found in ponds, farms, and aquaria today all trace their origins to wild ancestors whose biology and behavior were already suited to manipulation. Far from being blank slates, these ancestors were ecological generalists, opportunistic, robust, and behaviorally flexible. The process of domestication was not a single moment of taming, but an extended period of artificial selection acting on pre-existing traits that favored survival in confined or disturbed environments. The common carp, or 𝚬𝚌 carpio, is perhaps the most historically significant of all domesticated fish. Its wild ancestor is native to temperate freshwater systems of Europe and Central Asia, especially the Danube, Volga, and Ďača river basins. These rivers, marked by seasonal flooding and sediment-rich flow, selected for a bottom-feeding fish with a generalized diet, strong tolerance for hypoxia, and an ability to survive in stagnant or slow-moving water. Wild carp possessed a long, cylindrical body, cryptic coloration, and well-developed barbels used for detecting edible detritus in turbid conditions. Their physiology included a highly vascularized swim bladder and an efficient countercurrent gill system, allowing them to survive in flooded meadows and backwater oxbows, where dissolved oxygen varied greatly. It was this suite of ancestral traits that made them so readily adaptable to rice paddies and small human-constructed ponds across Eurasia. Over time, artificial selection favored compact body forms, faster growth rates, and docile behavior. But the ecological resilience of the original lineage remains intact in the genome of today's koi and commercial carp. Tilapias, now among the most widely farmed fish globally, actually descend from a clade of African cichlids, primarily the genus Oreochromis, which is native to the Nile and to lakes of the East African Rift. These ancestors were what we call substrate nesters and mouth brooders, laying adhesive eggs in shallow depressions and then guarding the fry within the buccal cavity. Their evolutionary lineage emerged in these really dynamic mineral variable lake systems where, sudden evaporation and refill could dramatically shift both salinity and temperature. Wild Oreochromis species developed a remarkable capacity to osmoregulate across these shifts, and they evolved a highly efficient gut morphology that was perfectly suited to scraping algae and ingesting detritus, which are two food sources that thrive in nutrient-loaded human-managed ponds. Their gregarious behavior, rapid juvenile development, and the capacity to breed multiple times per year were all traits that, honestly, had been selected long before the very first artificial tanks were ever filled. The channel catfish, or Ictalurus punctatus, which is native to the Mississippi River Basin, represents another successful example of domestication that's really rooted in ancient ecological resilience. Its wild ancestors inhabited slow-moving rivers and oxbow lakes with dense organic sediment, and quite often, frequent hypoxic episodes. The presence of accessory breathing structures and the ability to extract oxygen directly from the air by gulping at the surface enabled their survival in low-oxygen environments that frankly would suffocate most other teleosts. Their taste receptors extend across their entire body surface, with the highest concentrations on the barbels, giving them a near-omniscient perception of prey hidden in the silt. Their nocturnal foraging behavior, rapid growth, and tolerance of crowding made them ideal for aquaculture systems in the southeastern United States. Asian catfish species, such as Pangasianodon hypophthalamus, commonly called the iridescent shark, follow a similar trajectory. Descended from large-bodied migratory catfish of the Mekong River, these fish evolved to travel hundreds of kilometers in turbid flooded plains, enduring vast seasonal swings in turbidity, temperature, and dissolved oxygen. Their swim bladders are massive and finely tuned to changes in hydrostatic pressure, and their gut length can expand to accommodate periods of detritus-based subsistence feeding. Their tolerance of high-density living conditions, ancestral capacity for omnivory, and fast growth rate make them a cornerstone of commercial aquaculture across Southeast Asia. Ornamental fish too have their roots in hardy ancestors. Goldfish and koi are not the result of artificial fabrication, but really the refinement of natural variants. Both derive from the genus Carassius, especially Carassius auratus and Carassius jubileo, species native to East Asian rivers and floodplains. The ancestral goldfish was a drab, silver-grey scavenger of muddy pond bottoms, possessing an extreme tolerance for ammonia, low pH, and minimal oxygen. Occasionally, genetic mutations in coloration would occur: golden, orange, or red morphs. In the wild, these were rapidly eliminated by predation. In captivity, however, they were preserved and bred selectively. Over centuries, a lineage of fish selected for unusual pigment, altered body shape, and docile behavior diverged entirely from their ancestral form. Yet the physiological core of the wild fish, with its hardy organ systems and simple omnivory, remains visible beneath the ornamentation. The process by which these species became domesticated is not one of invention, but exploitation. Human societies identified fish whose ancestors were already well suited to marginal conditions, and then refined them over generations into creatures that thrive in containment. Domesticated fish are not tame versions of wild types. They are the endpoint of a long, implicit dialogue between evolutionary fitness and human selection pressure. The traits we see, rapid growth, social calm, resistance to stress, are echoes of what evolution had already begun.